Hey everybody, the Paint Marine back again with part 3 of the Vigilus weekend open day reporting. More stuff coming out here. So Blood of Kittens reported this from a Reddit article, and then I went out and found it. So this was some more info on what is coming out or what's kind of in store from somebody that was there. I guess they took some pretty detailed notes of everything. So a lot of good info and insight into what we have coming ahead of us. So as it says in here, if you're a blogger, YouTuber, Spiky Bits, Bill Lost Souls, Valrak. So I guess I'm not as big as one of these guys, but I guess I'm technically a YouTuber. So appreciate if you credit me this for this consolidated source of information. This took ages to report up, write up, etc. So it was submitted by Captain Betts. So yeah, I mean, it looks like you originally posted it in what I assume is the Gene Stealer Cult Discord server as it was happening. So yeah, so we'll kind of look through all these bullets. There's some interesting things. I actually haven't read all the way through a lot of these, and these got a few update edits in here, so a lot of good info in here to go over. But yeah, like I said, I haven't read quite through all of it, so let's jump into this. So, City Fight is a thing. It has special detachments, special rules, and stratagems in the new campaign book. There's a new army mechanic for picking detachments. There are new mega stratagems that affect a whole load of units in a detachment. For example, they can give every unit in detachment a keyword. Gene Stealer cults are in it. They get special detachments too. The orcs have a stratagem to make a Stompa their warlord. There's even a Stompa warlord trait table. And then we have these rules will be used in match play. You pay command points for specialist detachments rather than in 7th edition where formations were free. There are more specialized. So real quick, this right here, I like that idea. Because we would see different, we have detachments and formations now that really just generate command points. But in 7th, if anyone remembers, or if you didn't play in 7th, they had a lot of formations that gave a lot of special rules to that formation. And like it says, they were free, and so there's a lot of, I guess, open to kind of, abusing, use and abuse. So it's nice to see that there will be some sort of a tax that if you have, however many command points to bring certain formations, that will then generate you those special rules. So, yeah, that's very interesting to see. There are more specialized benefits, so are quoted, unquoted, easier to balance. An example of a stratagem benefit is Indominus Veterans, which upgrades all intercessors in a detachment to veterans. Which that right there, I'm trying to figure out what the as far as I know, the only thing that veterans does or has done in the past is raise your leadership. So yeah, I don't know. Aside from that, I don't know if it'd be nice if oh yeah, they get. I mean, Space Marines are already hitting on 3s, so wouldn't really see the benefit of that. But I don't know. I guess yeah, we'll see. I guess just leadership, maybe an extra attack, maybe I don't know. But anyway, they said that they are aware that armies with a load of command points, example guard, have more command points than more elite armies. So they're aware of that, okay. The benefits only affect specific models, all manticores in a detachment. Urban combat is a box. There's a plastic wallet inside with cards to make a map for building your own hive city. The overall map is A1, A2-ish. You slot the cards together to make the city. There are apparently reusable stickers you can peel on and off to show control of a given area. The box also contains more content which wasn't touched upon further. So I like this. This kind of explains more, in the video, kind of what we saw. I speculated that yeah, those cards you put in and you kind of make your own customized map, and then you can show who controls a different area, which is very cool. That's a cool idea. So other things I believe are in the box are like, excuse me, those terrain pieces and I guess kind of stratagem objective markers, I guess you could say, that you can control. So yeah, will be interesting to see what else comes in that box. The specialist attachments are more characterful rather than powerful. These attachments won't be for every army or model out there. They'll just be for armies and models that make the most sense. These attachments are not intended to be a replacement for the 7th edition detachments. Vigilus will be around for a while. No Necron or Tau on Vigilus. They appear in later settings. They may appear in later settings if they suit it. They don't want to make an unrealistic setting where every faction is present. So I don't know. This statement right here is kind of funny to me because it's like, so every faction but 2 of them are present. Like, that's whatever. I mean, Armageddon I think had every faction on it. So I mean, in the end, okay, cool, but I don't know. That's just kind of, why not? And it says unrealistic. I mean, it's 40K. There's no such thing as unrealistic, right? So anyway, the setting isn't just one environment. Example, everything being a frozen tundra. There are different biomes, and I almost read that biome dome. There are different biomes and a load of variety. Wow. Paul Denton is the artist who does the environmental pictures of it, or for it. Water is super precious on Vigilus. If you didn't know this already, AdMech used a space elevator to fetch water. Some guard attachments include one for Rustus, a Tempestus Scion one, which this right here I'm all about because I've been doing my ODST / Elysian / Tempestus Scion little kill team project, which is probably slowly, most likely, becoming its own Imperial Guard type army. But if they have like a cool Tempestus Scion detachment where I can bring just a bunch of ODST looking Tempestus, I'm gonna probably be all on board that. So I'm excited about seeing what that's about. Then there's a Lehman Russ one and a Sentinel one. The factions present on Vigilus are going to be getting these rules. Okay, I'm not sure if they're talking about these, what rules they're saying. It just says the factions present on Vigilus are going to be getting these rules. So I'm not sure what these rules here, what they're in reference to. Notably, rather than AdMech being listed as a faction, they were listed as Castellan robots. Eldar were also listed as Windrider host. All their factions were their general name. Example, Orcs, G-Star, Cult, Space Wolves. Some armies won't be appearing in the campaign books if they don't fit with any of the planned campaigns. I mean, that's kind of like before. They would release campaign books and it'd be like mainly like trying to think of one that off the top of my head. There's like I can't remember, it was Paterax or something, but these were more like planet to planet versus conflict of conflict. So it was like on this planet you got Raven Guard and White Scars and Tau fighting. This sounds like each of these campaign books are going to be based on Vigilus, focusing around an actual battle or campaign mission during that overall campaign of Vigilus. So that'll be interesting. Normal Space Marines can be made into Primaris now with surgery or something. So we know that is a thing because we all seen the Calgar model. Again, mini Marines aren't going anywhere. And that right there is, again, I think it's just kind of a smoke show. I feel like it's, smoke and mirrors. They're just trying to like avert our attention elsewhere. They are going somewhere. They're going to here. They're right up. They just said it right above here. They're Primaris now, but they're saying that because, they don't want the sky is falling type of reaction that happened with Fantasy going to Age of Sigmar. So, yeah. Grey Knights are not getting the Primaris treatment, which, again, I think is fine. There's just, they're their own thing. No one really knows their origins exactly, so that makes sense. And then I read somewhere else that I guess Robute Gilliman doesn't even know they exist, or he just thinks that they're a rumor, which is interesting. But anyway, so as to whether they'll have a load of Astro Militarum data sheets printed in the Genestealer Cult book, it says no. So that's interesting. So yeah, because I know now you can make like Genestealer Cult Guardsmen, so I don't know what this means exactly. So are they going to... Are you going to have 2 books to play Genestealer Cults then? I don't know. However, anything you've been able to ally in previously Genestealer Cults using the index is possible now. They use Manticores as an example. Don't want to make previous purchases wasted. They have tried to make them stronger as a standalone army. Said that many Genestealer Cult lists were just a tiny amount of Genestealer Cults and then a load of Tyranids and or Imperial Guard. So yeah, that's interesting, which I think we see as well with them coming out with new models with those awesome motorcycles and the ATVs. I think they're trying to come out with more so you can have a pure Genestealer Cult list. Not a pure Genestealer Cult or Genestealer, but just solely Genestealer Cult versus all these, like they said, allied and Tyranids and Imperial Guard. So like you have a small detachment Genestealer Cult just to get the cool rules, and then yeah. Strongly suggested they'd be getting sub-factions. The Codex adds a load of options to the army. It's almost a complete replacement set in relation to sub-faction keywords especially. The Codex has exciting new mechanics, stratagems especially. The releases shown today aren't the full set of releases. There's more to come. Cult Ambush is getting something turn 1, not the full deep strike like it was pre-FAQ, but something more than just a 9-inch pregame movement, i.e. Alpha Legion, Strategies, Raven Guard. Yeah, this big nerf that I hate, but yeah, we'll have to work around it. Renegade Guard Codex isn't in the works right now, so no Renegade Guard. There is more than one campaign book in the style of Vigilus coming, which I think everyone can expect with most of the codexes. I mean, done, finished. This is kind of their thing now. They'll do campaign books for a few years and either start soon or they'll get around to beginning to start revamping the codexes. So the Imperium, let's see. Each setting has its own theme. Imperium will be in each campaign setting. The next campaign setting is very fleshed out already. Similar structure to what we see with Vigilus and City Fight. Campaign books like City Fight won't be limited. There won't be a 6-month window in which you can buy them. Okay, so they'll be around for a while, I guess, is what that's saying. There are more codexes coming out next year. I'm curious which ones. There are currently no plans to release an Agents of the Imperium Codex, but designers felt that their units don't translate to the battlefield well. An Inquisitor, etc., feel more appropriate for Rogue Trader Kill Team. Specifically gave example of a character with a simple rapier and a las pistol doesn't feel right. They actually use Eisenhower as a very specific example too. For box games, they usually work about a year in advance. The person giving the seminar was working 3 years ahead on some stuff. Miniatures team plans significantly further than 1 year. More Rogue Trader explorations, or at least this style of release will come in the future. Beta codexes are a sort of thing will be seen in the future, but not in the same way as Sisters of Battle beta. The beta rules will be put in White Dwarf, example datasheet or a few stratagems. If they're well liked, they'll find their way into Match Play 40K, maybe with tweaks depending upon feedback. Sisters of Battle should be good standalone. They don't want to punish soup. They'd rather reward builds than penalize them. No comment on whether they try to reward monofaction armies. They're aware that they don't quite get soup yet. Points are worked out for using a formula, some which depend on points themselves. Open play rules are mainly to scratch a certain itch and gives an opportunity to add more creative and crazy rules into the game without breaking play. They know the fly FAQ change was an issue. They wanted to solve a simple problem which led to oversights. They want to create simple fixes rather than add a load of complication to the game. They don't want to be changing rules constantly and frequently. They say that most players aren't in the tournament circuit. Instead, missions included in chapter proof, etc. are meant to put a new spin on the rules. They don't like the idea of having too many required books either, having one page from a campaign book, two from White Dwarf, etc. They say that it will be possible to build an army without needing hundreds of different sources. They say their goal is to have it be possible to make a good army with fewer sources. They use Genestealer code as a specific example. Index options are here to stay for a while. They are just not in the codex because it's bad to have a codex with selections you can't buy. Kill team has more coming. The miniatures team make the concepts for models, and when it's fleshed out and the model is designed, they send it to the rules team to make rules for. Miniature team always comes first. Design team doesn't really present to miniatures team usually, so no orcs need a flying thing. Make a model for that. Since the rules designers work maybe a year or so in advance, they sometimes get confused on rules because they're not going to be implemented for a few months, a year. Wow, that's interesting insight right there. Robin Curtins will have a column in future White Dwarfs to explain ways to play, etc. The Codex design team is led by Robin Curtins and a seminar person, can't remember name. Also on the team are James Gallagher and a few new guys. They won't design Primarch-like models for each army, example Nids, Tau, Orcs. They'll just keep making cool models. If it happens to be a Lord of War size, then sure, they'll get a Lord of War. Primarchs will be done rarely to keep the feel that they're special. We should totally do Angron soon, was a direct quote by a seminar person. Another direct quote is Sanguinus looks pretty dead to me. Whichever Primarch mini they want to make next is whichever one they will make. Coolness. Robin Curtins did a PhD in physics and apparently really loved math. This actually seems funny given the internet memes of him being the guy who said math is just an opinion. I'm not really tracking all that, but Games Workshop do keep an ear to the ground on online forums indirectly and directly. They just don't really post. It's hard to take suggestions from online on how many good and bad ones there are. The Orc Daka Daka rule was actually thought up by a design team before it was also suggested online. Which, I don't know, that can be whatever. Of course, they're going to say they were the first ones to come up with it before it was online. That's a weird, like, to me, that weird brag, bro. Like, what? Who cares? Like, that's a weird. Oh yeah, we were the one. We actually came with it first before it was suggested. I'm like, who cares? Why did you like? People, regardless, are always going to suggest. Like, I had a few models that I know. Well, so and here's the thing: is like I came up with a different concept stuff that I made, like Devastator grav cannons. And then it was like a year or so later, they came out with something. I also did a Storm Talon where I kit bashed up a bunch of stuff, and it looked a lot like the Stormhawk Interceptor. But, I mean, reading this, I would say, like, well, they came up with it first, apparently, because they were, you know, years ahead of anything that comes out. But it's really hard. It's very interesting to see how, you know, all that stuff correlates. You know, a lot of people have similar or same ideas. So, at the end of the day, like, who cares? Like, yeah, anyway. So here's a major update that he did. I have some people contacting me, asking me what the seminar was like. Example, how was it set up? Did they have a PowerPoint, etc.? When entering the venue, there was a table by the door. You spoke to the people behind the table if you wanted to go to a seminar. If there were still spaces available in the seminar you wanted to go to, they would give you a piece of colored paper to stick in your ticket to show you have a place there. The seminar probably had space for 30, 40 people, so spaces were taken very quickly. The seminar was in a classroom-sized room. There was one presenter who is one of the lead designers. The other presenter was apparently ill. The first showed us a video that was playing across Warhammer World to remind us of the topics of Open Day. Then he went into a text-based PowerPoint to cover Vigilus and the other upcoming releases for about 5 minutes. But we also reminded not to take photos, videos in the seminar. For the next 50 questions, it was Q&A. Members of the audience would ask questions and they'd be answered. Forgot to write down under the city fight heading. Notably, rather than Admech being listed as a faction, or instead listed as Castellan, Eldar. Okay, so he added that in there. Edit 3, obligatory thank you so much for the gold Euro. It's great to see my reporting has been appreciated by so many of you guys. To add a bit more context to the Ages of Imperium news, they use Eisenhower's specific example for a model not fit for the battlefield. And here's an image album of loads of photos I took at the event. Maybe take a look at that and see what we got here. I've gotten photos of the hybrid gunslinger sprues, some perspectives of a number, perspectives of a number of models, i.e. the quad biker you might not have seen yet, and some shots from above that give you a good idea how large the bases are. I'll make a separate post for these just in case not many people are coming to this and so they won't be seen. Alright. Let's see here. Alright, so some of the unpainted bikers. I wonder if the bikes will come with that ATV, that quad bike, or not, if they'll be their own separate thing. I just want the bikes just for this model here. I really just want that model to convert into some kind of something. I just love that pose. Let's see. Then we have some of the bikers painted. Definitely has a Mad Max feel to them. So there's that quad bike that ATV looking one right there that I definitely want to look into. Sniper. I'm already seeing so much potential here. Just an easy, torso swap. Keep the arms. Put a little shoulder thing here. The Puppets of War helmet there, and boom, sniper on a bike. This is the same picture. It looks like, yeah. Really a lot of pictures of these bikes. I mean, they're definitely cool. Gunslinger, Gene Stealer Colt. There's the sprue. Try to get top-down pictures, see the size of the bases, but yeah. Here's some Trader or Gene Stealer Guard. All right. Apparently, this guy is a big Gene Stealer Cult person. I mean, he's definitely all about it. Plus, he was posting these up in the Gene Stealer Cult Discord. Oh, there looks to be our Phantom reporter now. So I'm curious if there's any pictures of anything else. Nope. So it's all just Gene Stealer Cult models that he took pictures of. So, but yeah, very interesting info to say the least. Exciting to see where else this goes. I would say the biggest things I took that I liked is this urban combat box with the custom map that you make. I like that. I also like this idea of the guard attachments with the Tempest Assign one. Very interested in seeing how that works out. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of the main ones for myself. The rest are very interesting things in general. So, yeah. All right. Well, I think at least for now, that appears to be the end of the coverage for the I keep forgetting how to say it. Vigilus Open Day from this past weekend. So I don't know. There may be more coming out later to report on or not, but we'll just stand by and have to see. So again, thanks for watching. Definitely check out the Facebook, check out the rest of the YouTube channel, like, subscribe, share, and I will see you next time.